Oh, hello there. I'm in the middle of installing shocks in this MN99S. If you're interested in upgrading your shocks in your MM99S, then this video is for you. Let's get this thing apart. We gotta fix our little bumper there too. It came off, but that's okay. Alright, so there are 4 screws we'll worry about in taking this thing apart. There's one screw here. There's one screw behind the drive shaft right here. And then on the other side, inside of the bonnet here, where the battery is, and it should take out, there are 2 screws right here. One screw there, and one screw right there. So you take those 4 screws out, the top comes right off. And screw number 4. Most of the screws on MN models are like this. Some are a little bit different. They have a little bit bigger head to them. You want to keep track of which screw is where. You saw in my last video I replaced the electronics in here. I went and got some shocks for a TRX 4M from our local hobby shop. See how they fit. And I also got these little extenders as well to make the shock rise up a little bit. I could have 3D printed these myself, and maybe I will draw some of these up for you, show you how to do that in the Libre if you're interested, and we'll print it out and see how they perform. Yeah, I should probably use my handy dandy stand. And I should probably check to see if there's any oil in these things. That's our TFM. Oh, replacing the shock oil. This is what I need to know. So the bladder is on top. Okay, let's see if we can do it from the top. Oh yeah, I need some. Alright, 20 weight it is. Back it up a little bit and then all the way down. Now we'll tighten her down. I've got the one shock installed, so let me review with what you need to do in order to get this to work. You need to get the risers installed. You need to get this part off and these things out. So you got to trim out these parts here. I haven't done that quite yet. So you got to trim out these parts. We'll also need to trim out these corner pieces here for the washers to fit. Now that should fit in there just fine. Yes, look at that. Alright, so that's that. The shock is in. The only thing I need to do is to figure out in fact, let's fix that antenna right now. So let's build this side and you can see how it's done. I have the shocks fully assembled. I have oil in there. I just remove the top to add some 20 weight oil. And then I installed these little bushing things. These guys here took 2 little O-rings here. And then this one just popped into place with some pliers. On this part here, I need to cut off this so that it's flush with the arm. Get that off flush. And I can pull that down. After cutting that, I'm going to drill out 2mm hole all the way through. Okay. And then I can use a tap and a pin vise, 2.5mm tap and a pin vise to, I'm not getting in there very straight. I need to, let's see, am I good enough? Fantastic. Yes. Okay, and I've got it forward and to the top. Okay, that's good enough for now until I get the spacers. And there it is. So this achieved what I wanted to achieve. 1, I got some good dampening on there now. 2, I've got it lowered. You can see I'm a little bit more level here now than I was before. So I got that accomplished. If you want more ground clearance, you want it to be higher, you can drop these down to the bottom, or you can put them into the old spot that they were and get even more ground clearance if you want to do that. So let's see how it looks on the truck. Not quite as low as I wanted it, but hey, it is lower. You can see it's a lot lower than it was. I've got a Carolina, whatever that's called. Leave it in the comments what that's called when the front end's up. But yeah, I got that going. So yeah, that looks good. All right, let's get the front ones done. So the front ones, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to remove this piece. I'm going to cut these out. I'm going to install the risers. And then I'm going to cut these bottoms the same as I did those and install the shocks. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. If I find they're different than the back, I'll show you the difference. The front shocks went on just as easy as the rear shock. One of the things I did learn is that I have this great little button head, and it comes with the nuts, and it comes with all sorts of different sizes of 2.5mm screws. Two nuts worked well as the spacer, so I'm going to add those 2 nuts to the rear as the spacer. All right, let me get the bench cleaned up because it is a complete disaster area. And we will try it on the little test track again. Unfortunately, I didn't record on the test track on the before. So shame on me for not checking my work before proceeding to the next step. Ugh. But I still have the test track set up the same way it was. I'll show you where it failed last time. We'll see if it fails in the same spot. Here we go. All right, here we go with the crawl test. Before with the old shocks, it would fail right at this line right here. So let's add our pointer right there. That's where it was failing before. Let's see if it does a better job now. 1, it's not as bouncy, which is good. So the shocks was a good upgrade. The test that I'm doing right now is to see if the center of gravity actually lowered. What I'm noticing is this back wheel here is really starting to cave under the weight. So I need firmer foams on that in order to do that. I don't know if that will make it so it can crawl over this better or not, but it might. Something to try later on. All right, so let's add in another rock. And you can, and we are recording, so that is good. Look at that. So even though I lowered it, I still have essentially the same amount of travel because it still goes down just as far, it seems. I still need to get the back end up a little bit to make it look better, but yeah. I'm happy with this. I can adjust that. That's an easy adjustment in the back. I've got the other springs that came with it, which I think are a little bit stiffer. I might put those in the back. So yeah, I'm happy with that. I'm happy with the way that turned out. So what's next for the MN99S? Well, I have a new motor and transmission coming from AliExpress. It's going to take a month or so to get here, as well as drive shafts. I have the parts for the front end and the rear end to make them metal, because right now they're plastic. These parts right in here. These parts in here are all plastic. I have the metal parts with the bearings coming. So that'll be another video. I want to repaint this body. I have this idea here. I have this idea point right here of how I want this to look. And so I will be breaking out the old vinyl cutter to cut some vinyl for this and repaint this thing. What else do I have in store for this thing? Yeah, that should be about it. It should be ready to do the crawling around. So, do I recommend this thing over buying something a little bit more capable? If you're not planning on doing this hobby to tinker with things, then no, don't buy this. Buy something better. If you're into this for the tinkering and the upgrades and the building of stuff and the modeling and the 3D printing and all of that stuff, this is a great little platform. I see a lot of potential in this platform to add some things to it, to make it better, to tinker with, to keep my mind going, to, all those things, what the hobby is all about. So yeah, if that's what you're into, it's a great little model. It's cheap, lots of upgrades out there on the market, lots of upgrades you can do yourself. Lots of things fit, like the shocks on this, they're for TRX4M. So yeah, lots and lots of potential. So I hope you join me to explore the potential of this thing. And we'll go from there. Thanks for watching.